Hello, sumo fans. We're back. This has been quite the tournament, I have to say. September, I was not feeling it. Not one little bit. Between the agony of whether or not Taki Keisho was going to retire and or, lose himself in the middle of the ring. And then Hoshoryu was just, probably not the worst he's ever been, but it was a pretty bad tournament. And then I had to deal with the aftermath of Taki Keisho's retirement. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to enjoy November as much as I want to. And boy, have I been wrong. I am enjoying this November immensely. And I'm happy to be wrong about that. So, as usual, let's kind of go through the notes of what happened today, the matches for tomorrow, and all that other fun stuff. Oh, I'm going to say hi to people quickly. Monster agrees. Wow, what a basho so far. Could this be what we've been waiting for all year? I feel like it is so far. As long as we don't get some crappy ending, which I'm not expecting, this tournament has lived up to all the hype, all the desires of our hearts. And Elise, I am very glad you are right on time. How are you doing? So, let's get talking about the day's events. I'm going to kind of go a little bit in order here. So, there's a couple topics I want to talk about, but I guess I'll just go through the main matches first. So, Takanosho versus Onokatsu. Onokatsu obviously still in this thing. Takanosho with the leaders, surprise of the tournament. And he had the simple strategy. You've seen Taki Keisho and Abi, whom I see. Don't worry, Monster, we'll be talking about Abi. He did the, push up, pull down, wins the match. The really exciting thing about Takanosho is he kind of showed us a glimpse of what he's been working on in July. Like, he was showing us that he's capable of making a run. But, we discussed it, and we're like, maybe it was a fluke. Well, now we see it's not a fluke. He's definitely healed up now, and he wants to make his move. And how poetic would it be? I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. But if he were to win November, Taki Keisho's tournament. Now, I've been reading Chris Sumo's Patreon stuff, and apparently Taki Keisho is coaching every single day, and he's given the youngsters a hard time, and Takanosho just sits there and listens to all the advice that he's giving. So he's getting actual Taki Keisho guidance every single day, where they never really used to talk that much. So wouldn't it be amazing if almost Takanosho could win by proxy? Just saying. It's a little bit of a dream, but hard also, because Hoshoryu's my favorite and he's doing amazing. But we'll get to that. I saw Aoyama was commentating, so that was pretty cool. That was his thing today. In the Wakataka Kage versus Oho match. Now, I had Wakataka Kage. I picked him as my yusho winner, only because I refused to pick Hoshoryu. I thought maybe it would help him out if I didn't pick him this time. I picked him like 3 tournaments in a row, and it didn't work out. So Wakataka Kage was my pick, but he's starting to slip away. With the 7-3. They had to go to a redo, a Atari no Ashi, and that was good. There's a possibility that Oho did win that match, but it was so close that I just prefer the redo. It looked like Oho had gotten control of that second match, but that sly little move at the edge, the reversal, and Wakataka Kage wins the way that Wakataka Kage wins. So for now, he's still in it, but I expect he's gonna play spoiler. He's gonna affect the outcome, but I don't know that he's gonna be in it at the end. I mean, we'd need a pretty big collapse by 3 different guys, but we'll see. Then we have everybody's favorite Abi. And I see Abi all over the comment section here. Don't worry, guys. I've got a whole thing prepared for Abi. But we're going to focus on his match of the day today. So Abi faced off against Hida Umi. Katatsukashi, which was a nice little addition to the repertoire. Maybe this is the time to talk about Abi since we're in his match. Okay. You know that I'm a huge Hoshiryu fan. And you know that I like good, clean sumo. So with that said, I'm going to say, if Abi wins this whole thing, it's going to be controversial. People are going to be angry about it. But the truth is, Abi, it's really the Gyoji's job to make that call. Abi can't plan in advance. Oh, I'm going to try to do a Mata and get Hoshiryu off balance. He's got to expect the Gyoji to make the call. So, I mean, people jump the gun all the time. And in this particular case, Hoshiryu got caught off guard. Gyoji doesn't call it, and he gets the match. I really don't see how you can blame Abi for it. I mean, unless you've got something in your head that he planned it all along and he like had a conversation with the Gyoji before the match. Hey, I'm going to do this, so don't call it. What happened, happened. It stinks. I don't like that loss one bit. But I don't really think you can put this one on Abi. The Gyoji should have made the call. And I hesitate to, I absolutely hesitate to blame Hoshiryu at all because he just got caught off guard. It happens. But maybe Hoshiryu can learn from this. Like, even if you think it's going to be a Mata, go. Just go in anyway. Who cares? So, you know, people are going to be real mad if Abi wins this thing, but they shouldn't be. Unless Abi does some other sketchy thing. This is like the least controversial thing that he could do, in my personal opinion. So, anyway, I feel bad for Hironomi because he is fighting hard. The effort is there. He's trying a lot of things, but it's just not working. I think he's not strong enough. I think he needs to bulk up a little bit. I don't necessarily mean, you know, get bigger, but he just doesn't have the ability to overpower guys, and they can do that to him at the edge and stuff. So he's at a disadvantage, unfortunately. So anyway, poor Hironomi. I hope he can right the ship a little bit before this tournament is over, and he's just going to have to forget about it. So, Shode gets a win today. Hilarious. Obviously, he's having a very Shode-like tournament, and I'm just predicting now, watch him come back and get a Kachikoshi, and we'll all forget about his absolute terrible beginning to this tournament, getting embarrassed by the higher rankers. And then we have Kirishima hanging on for dear life. It was, you know, going from, you know, trying to get back to Ozeki to now trying to maintain his position. I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in Kirishima. I don't know if it's his mind or what the deal is, but it's not in the cards, man. It's not in the cards. So now we have Daisho versus Onosato, which was very, very entertaining match. There have been so many entertaining matches this time. So Daisho wins on the belt with only 3 functioning fingers. I think that's what made me, like, I got a huge chuckle watching this match. The guy has like 1 little finger and he gets it on the belt and he beats like this guy with massive upper body strength. All I can say is he showed the kid that he really needs to grow. That was a gutsy veteran win. I don't expect Onosato to stay in the yusho race. I didn't expect him to be in it anyway. I had predicted beforehand, and so had John, that, you know, Onosato was going to get 9 or 10 wins. I think he's going to get at least 10 wins at this point, maybe more. He's actually performing really good considering that he should have yusho and Ozeki fatigue. So he's doing great, but this is not his tournament. I think he could play spoiler. I think he can mess around with everything, but I think he's not going to be in the conversation on the final day. And then we had Hoshiryu versus Koto Shoho. Can I just say how happy I am right now? Hoshiryu looks great. He looks exactly the way I envision him going into a tournament of how he's going to do. He looks calm, dominant. He's been doing the throws. He's been showing his power. You can see sort of like he's going with the flow, not getting too tense and making a decision based on how the guy is fighting, what he's going to do. Like I said, I think the Abi situation is an unfortunate thing. Chances are, I mean, if the situation was reversed and Hoshoryu jumps the gun and gets the win, I don't think people are mad at him. I think they're just mad at Abi because Abi angers people. And I completely understand why Abi angers people. He doesn't... Okay, he has angered me, and he does anger me. But yet, I still like him. Like, I still root for him. I don't have a problem with him, even though he's done some real sketchy stuff. But in this case, I don't think it was sketchy at all. I think it is what it is. It's the equivalent of falling when you didn't mean to fall or getting an injury. You know, it just happens. So, Koto Sakura versus Tobizaru. Koto Sakura looks the best I've ever seen him. He looks really confident and strong. And I have to believe to some degree this is the influence of Hoshoryu doing so well. And this is why I'm always saying how important it is to have high-level competition. If you've got a certain number of guys who are doing extremely well, it's going to push other guys to work harder, to fight stronger, and they'll influence you. I think Koto Sakura has always been more of a calmer personality, but he's never been confident and calm at the same time. Now, we'll see. We always discuss this. Day 10 is totally different than day 11. Guys get 10-0 and then fall apart in day 11. Now, we don't have anybody like that this time. But let's not counter, let's just not count on anything yet. Each day, we're going to get closer and closer to what's really going on. So, I just want to change this real quick so we can look at the matches. And I'll look at your chat again. I'm going to read these off, but I'm sure you guys would like to actually look at it. So, I'm going to talk about the matches for tomorrow, who I think is going to win, and then kind of where we're headed. And then we'll see if tomorrow's live stream sounds different. So, tomorrow we have Hoshoryu versus Daisho. This is a fascinating match because Hoshoryu looks so dialed in right now that he should take it no problem. But if anybody's going to give him trouble that he's not expecting, it's Daisho. Daisho he's hungry to win every match. And he meets the level of competition that he's facing. So he's going to be pretty fired up. And now we know that he can win on the belt with a finger. However, he's not going to do that with Hoshoryu. Onosato's just so green, he got exposed by Daisho today. So I believe Hoshoryu will win the match, but don't think this is going to be an easy one. And I think he's very well aware of that as well. So hopefully he's ready to go, because I'm ready to see Hoshoryu on day 15 with this. Then we have Takanosho versus Onosato, another fascinating match, because Takanosho right now hasn't faced the higher level competition. Onosato's pretty tough. He may be sort of one-dimensional, and like I said, he got a little exposed today. But he's not going to be a pushover match. And Takanosho has not shown himself up until this point to be able to hang with the elite. So if Takanosho wins that match tomorrow, then I'm going to start talking, So this is a super important match for him. Not so important for Onosato, is but isn't. I mean, he's still in the yusho race, so obviously he's going to want to win out. I'm counting him out already, which, maybe I shouldn't do, but I don't know. I think Takanosho has a good shot, unless Onosato just smothers him, which is possible. So I'm not going to pick anybody in that match. Next, we have Koto Sakura versus Wakamoto Haru, both 7-3. No, excuse me. I got that wrong. 9-1 Koto Sakura. I'm reading my notes wrong. Wakamoto Haru is out of this thing with the 6-4. Not looking great, but he's hanging in there. I mean, he's certainly looking way better than Kirishima, and that's who I gauge. I gauge each other. They're very similar in terms of not their styles, but just the level. So Kirishima, not so great. Wakamoto Haru, decent. I expect Kotozakura to take that match. With that said, Wakamoto Haru, even trickier than Daisho. If somebody's going to pull off an upset, it will be Wakamoto Haru. Then we have the 7-3s, Wakataka Kage and Takada Fuji. Wakataka Kage should take that match, no problem. I do not foresee anything changing that outcome. Could be wrong, but that's where I'm at now. And then we have our friend Abi versus Onokatsu. Now, I think Onokatsu is going to lose this match, but you don't know. Because here's the weird thing about Abi, right? Abi can be a giant slayer, beat like the best guys, and then lose to the guys he shouldn't. So he could lose to Onokatsu, but I'm not expecting him to. So we will see. Now, I want to get to all of your comments, but I am going to talk about Abi a little bit here, so that might address some comments in here. Don't count Abi out. He's got a really good chance of winning this because he's already faced all the top guys. And all the top guys are now just facing each other. So somebody's going to take a win off of somebody. Kotozakura and Hoshiryu are not going to both have one win at the end of this. But Abi is sitting pretty. So I'm telling you, Abi's got a really good shot of winning this if at least one of the Ozeki isn't top of his game, because it won't be both of them. Now, with that said, if Abi starts losing ridiculous matches, then forget everything I just said. And that's possible too. I'm just saying, look out for him. He is a dangerous dark horse at this point. Taka no Sho is in it, but I would call him a dark horse as well, just because of the precedent. He has had that one opportunity where he almost won the yusho, so maybe not quite so much, but he's in new territory for him right now. So I'm still putting him in the dark horse category. Now, Hoshiryu and Kotozakura, this is a race. Both of these guys look the best I've seen them in a long time. Both of these guys are going to really come at each other. I think they're facing each other on day 12. Wow. I mean, I cannot predict what's going to happen here. And the crazy thing is, if either of them win, then we get a Yokozuna run. So just like, hold on, guys. This is going to be wild. Like, the next couple days are going to be the best sumo ever. So, all right, let's get to all the comments, because that's the fun part. Mitch says, good morning. Good morning. I don't know if that's a joke or if you're actually somewhere where it's morning. And how would I feel if Abi wins? You know, he's not who I want to win, because I love Hoshiryu, and this is a great chance for him. And I love, love, love the idea of Takanosho taking it. Oh, Takanosho by proxy. That's the thing, man. Like, now that Takakeisho's gone, I'm going to be rooting for Takanosho. It's a different feeling, because Hoshiryu, I have the passion. Like, this is my guy. He is awesome, amazing. Let's get to Yokozuna. But Takanosho might have my heart. And I am going to be rooting for him pretty hard. So, Abi is not, like, the guy I want to win. But I like Abi, unlike many others who don't. Even though he does stuff that is very, very frustrating and upsetting, I still like the guy. So, don't want him to win necessarily, but I wouldn't be upset if he did. Alaise says she's really enjoying the boss show. Me too. I really didn't think I was going to. September was such a bummer that November is like a amazing surprise. I'm thrilled about this boss show. Monsters ready for the chaos terrain. We're going to get chaos, and I love it. I love it. It's so great. Mitch says, if Abi won another yusho, I would probably start running around my neighborhood naked in celebration. Well, you know what? Abi is something else. That's all I can say about him. Every time you think he's down and out and he doesn't belong in Sanyaku, he does stuff like this. He's got the heart for sumo. He cares very, very much. And he wants to win at all costs. That's the difference between him and some others maybe, is that some of the shady stuff he does, I don't think it embarrasses him one bit. He has the attitude of a win is a win. And you got to respect the fact that he's consistent. I mean, you know that Abi's a trickster. What upset a lot of people about the Takakeisho Hanka in particular is that's not him. He went his whole career up until like the last year, never, ever, ever hanking anybody. And them doing it to him constantly. With Abi, I mean, you know he's going to do something crazy. So, you know, be prepared for it. Shodai didn't want to embarrass everyone else. I'm going with that too, MKG. Shodai is just in disguise right now. He's in Clark Kent. He doesn't want anyone to know he's Superman. But I wouldn't be shocked if he comes back and gets a Kachikoshi because he's an enigma. Ironically, Teruno Fuji not being here is probably worse for Takanosho since he's so good versus the Yokozuna. I know, kind of funny, huh? Especially because Teruno Fuji, you know, just keeps kind of wasting away. Takanosho's just going to get better and better at fighting him. Habob Gob says, the paradox of being a Takakeisho fan is that we can enjoy this Basho more now that we know he will be safe and healthy. You have said it 100%, the feelings that I've had. So going into this tournament, I thought I would be just completely in mourning because it's November and it's the first tournament without Takakeisho and it's his tournament and now he's not here. But I actually feel like I can enjoy sumo more without him in there because I don't have to worry anymore. I can just sit around and watch the matches and enjoy. And I can super enjoy watching Takakeisho cameos everywhere and, you know, watching him lose weight, which is so cool. And I'm going to talk about Mitake Yumi in a little bit, but he was there for the Mitake Yumi situation too. So at least he's still there and he's smiling a lot, which I like. And for any of you who are not looking at the community tab, you should, because every time I get a Takakeisho picture, I post it there. So go to the community tab after you're done listening and look at all the fun pictures and the fun we've been having spotting Takakeisho around, because it's awesome. I got a Twitter account just so that I could find sumo accounts that are posting Takakeisho pictures, because that's like my new favorite thing. I am super enjoying it. I would only like if Abi won if he translated it into an Ozeki run. Same with Takanosho, but he's outside the range of starting a run. Never count Abi out, I'll tell you that. It would be great to see Takanosho make a push because he was in Sanyaku for a very long time before he got the knee injury. And so he's coming back from an injury, and he's definitely, before that, was capable of at least being Sanyaku for a while. Maybe he's got Ozeki in him. I don't know. It'd be nice to think that Takakeisho was back there spurring him on. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. Hello, Mega Monster. Yeah, it's not Abi's fault, but I couldn't fault someone mad at him. I completely agree. Abi's like that kid who's always poking you with the stick. And you're like, get out of here. And then something happens to you because you're trying to get away from him with the stick. But it wasn't really his fault, but you're still mad at him because he's always poking you with the stick. Colin does not want Abi to win. Kwakiryu says, Ho Shuryu. Yes. I was mad at Asanoyama for the same reason. I got mad at Asanoyama so many times, and then I was like, why? The poor guy ends up losing everything, and now he's trying to get back. So I try not to stay mad at anybody for too long unless they really do something to upset me. Waga should be 8-2 if not for the Oshoma Hanka. Mitch says he's all in on the idea of Abi winning. It wasn't a Hanka, it was a hit and shift. Yeah, I haven't seen any blatant Hankas. There's definitely been hitting and shifting. There's definitely been some trickster stuff, but it's been pretty straight up sumo. And not so much controversy. I mean, there's some tournaments where there's at least one match that you're like, wait a minute, a day. And we really haven't had that. Now, with that being said, going into days 11 through 15, there's plenty of time for people to get mad and have scandals. So let's knock on wood. Let's keep the straight up sumo going. If Abi wins, I'm counting that as another W for me against Grand Sumo Breakdown. Let me tell you something. So I did Kachi Clash again this time. I'm doing horrible. But if I had picked my exact Kachi Clash from September, I'd be near the top. I'm really upset about that. Like almost every pick I had for September is doing amazing this time. So if I could just swap, that would be fantastic. Abi is the villain we need, not the one we deserve. You need villains. Sumo was so much more entertaining with Abi. When he was gone for that period of time, it wasn't the same. He brings such a personality to the sport. And you need to have guys that you hate as much as you love. And of course, we're talking about hate in the colloquial sense, not actual hate. Some people don't really like that word. If Abi wins the yusho, I don't see how I don't win the Grand Sumo Breakdown Discord Champ Chump game. Well, I hope you win. Onosato versus Daisho showed off exactly why I'm a hater. Stall the match out long enough and Onosato will crumble. Well, once again, you have to have guys that you root against. Onosato was very green and he's learning through the gauntlet. Daisho taught him something so valuable today. I would almost argue it was better to lose that match the way he did today than to win. Because he's been getting by, because he's big, he's got good fundamentals, he's young and strong. And Daisho showed him today, you gotta mix it up and you gotta get a better ring sense. You gotta know when the pusher thruster just switched to a frontal grip. Actually, it wasn't frontal grip, it was from behind, but I mean, Onosato looked so amateurish in that match. He probably got reamed out when he got back to the stable. Colin made a comment that is perfect because now I can talk about what I wanted to talk about. I'm amazed Mitakayumi is still fighting. He's clearly injured. So let's talk a little bit about Mitakayumi. And of course, by the time I get to the comments, it'll be over. But anyway, that was really scary to see him taken out in a stretcher like that. But it appears that it wasn't an injury. Like, it looked like it could have been a collarbone or something like that. It looks like it's the thigh. So he couldn't walk. So he couldn't get up to get into the wheelchair. It was interesting to see how strong Aoyama is. I mean, he just picked him up. No trouble at all. And it was interesting to see him and Miyogiru and Takikeisho all down there helping out. It's finally we got some strong guys that can assist an injured Rikishi. But I was watching Goose's coverage of that, and he made such an excellent point that I just wanted to bring up, which was that, sumo is a sport. I don't know, rough one at that. Probably one of the roughest sports out there. And sometimes people are just going to get hurt no matter what happens, whether you have the ring up, elevated, or whether it's down. Sometimes people are just going to get hurt. And in fact, it's kind of a miracle that more guys don't get hurt like that. And then after all the scariness of seeing him get pulled out in a stretcher, he's back the very next day. I don't know why he feels the need to fight. He obviously is so hurt, but he won today. That little bit of oomph that he got, that little last minute push to knock Takada Fuji out, I mean, that was amazing. That's guts. And like I was saying before in the preview show, there's something about November that really, really pushes these guys to want to end their year on the right foot. So, I mean, the example of Mitakayumi out there still fighting shows you everything. I mean, that is a story of a story. Just seeing this man fight when he really doesn't have to, because he feels like he needs to. And even the commentators, the Japanese commentators, were like, he shouldn't be here, but I'm impressed at the same time. So, and one last thought on the Mitakayumi thing was, as I'm sitting there watching Takikeisho standing by him, I thought, I wonder if he's thinking about himself as he sees this. And B, I thought, wow, I'm really glad Takikeisho retired. Because I was always afraid that that was going to be him. And if it was him, it was going to be an injury that would have far worse repercussions. So, Anyway, that's my take on me Takayumi. If you can stop Onosato, you have a good chance to win. Well, yes and no. I wouldn't say that's the case in this particular tournament. Certainly in the last one, I think he's not up to the standards typical. But I think it's a real good boost if you're a lower ranker guy, for sure. Like Takanosho, that's a good boost for him. The only thing that worries me about Hoshoryu is that it's not going to be as easy to throw the other two Ozeki, and he gets hurt the last time he tried. So I was reading, once again, Chris Sumo's Patreon, that Hoshoryu was very aware of how he needs to change his strategy when fighting those other guys because he got hurt those 2 times. So I think he's been preparing something. That doesn't mean I'm not worried, because I think if he's in a throwing position, he might still pull the throw if he's got a chance to win the yusho. With that said, I know that he is actively trying other things to protect himself. He is far more injury conscious than some of the wrestlers of the past, as evidenced by the fact that his uncle would be yelling at him, "What do you mean you're taking the end of the tournament off? Just get a quarter zone shot and fight." That's not Hoshoryu. Hoshoryu cares about longevity. So he's a little bit smarter on this front, and I think he will do everything he can to protect himself and still win. Tobizawa is just too strong to be outside the Joey. He was cleaning house with the weaker competition. Tobizawa is in this weird state where he is a better fighter than he shows himself to be sometimes. And you see that once he's fighting the lower rankers. Still don't know how he wins the matches he does. Tobizawa is just like a little mosquito. He just takes enough endurance out of you, running around in circles and pulling on different body parts, that eventually something happens. He's got a lot of endurance. Hideumi's effort has been there, but his explosive tachi is missing. He might be a little bit hurt, or he might just be a little bit outclassed. I think he's going to go back and, try a lot of things, but unfortunately, he's going to be one of the sad stories of this tournament. There's been so many good ones, but, he's tried so hard, and he's only gotten 1 win, and it's unfortunate. Monkey-style technique. I agree. Monkeys wear you down. Habab Gob is loving the Kiri Bayama, as he would say, meltdown, because he's not a fan. It's hard. Kirishima is just... He could be a better fighter than he ends up being, unfortunately. Man, Hiraumi is just not the same guy as he was in the last 2 basho. He just isn't. That would suggest that he probably is nursing an injury. Hello, Stargazer. Good to see you. Takanosho has beat Onosato before. He's got a better chance than most. I was thinking that, but the nerves might start creeping in. That's what I'm concerned about. I think Takanosho can do it. I just hope he doesn't get too nervous. I'm glad that I didn't go off on a rant and say all the nice things I wanted to about Kirishima pre-basho. I would have looked like a major dumbass if I did. Hey, you know what? All of this is just guessing. Like I said, look at my Kachi Clash. All the people I picked in September did horrible. And if I just switched it and guessed them this time around, I would be near the top. All of Sumo is just a guessing game. I don't know what to say about Kirishima. Sad. I find it sad as well. It's Kirishima's mind, I think. I agree with you, Kwakuryu. I think he's just not mentally tough enough to get where he wants to get. Onosato has been showing off his brand of... Onokatsu has been showing off his brand of sumo well. Not the most exciting matches, except for the one against Shishi, but his masterful defense has been on display. Onokatsu looks good. I don't think he's ready for a yusho run, but he looks good. And let me just say something about Shishi, because now, finally, I'm seeing Shishi for the first time in the top division. The problem is his form. He is so upright when he's fighting these guys. If you look at him fighting anybody, they are in the perfect, crouching position, and they keep their knees bent the whole time. Shishi is always pulling himself up. And as soon as you do that, you're going to lose the match. So his form stinks. That's why he's having trouble. I think if he could correct that, he'd be in better shape. Because I think he does have some strength on the edge. I saw him really fighting fighting to stay alive, but man, he's got to work on that form. Go talk to Abi, man. Monster says, my money is on Evil Abi. Yeah, Evil Abi might win out. Quackadoo asked day 12 ? Sorry, I'm so far behind. I don't know what you're referring to anymore. I'm going to try to catch up. It's kind of like the Ozeki finally received their introduction to being Ozeki packet in the mail. I agree with that. I heard Takanosho has been getting a lot of tips from Takakeisho this basho. Yes, he has. And Takakeisho, I was reading a translation of his interview when he was in the commentary booth. I was so excited. That he's feeling a little sad. Like he's happy to be losing the weight, but he's never had time to sit down and watch sumo before. So now he's watching it and he's feeling lonely because he's not out there anymore. So I think he's going to put everything he can into his wrestlers, and that's going to benefit all of them because he never could before. He said in the commentary booth that he never had time to care about anybody else's sumo but his own. So now we're going to get like this whole different thing in that stable. I'm very excited for that. I mean, bad Gyoji call aside, Abi's been putting on champion sumo. He is on his A game. Completely agree. Day 11, Quack. Okay, I missed something there. I am interested in seeing what happens with Takeru Fuji. Only 2 losses. Do they bring him up to the big boys? Wow, I forgot to even talk about him. Let's look at the match he's going to have tomorrow. It's messed up when you don't even think of the guy who's like right in there. Takeru Fuji is fighting Gonoyama. That's going to be a good match because Gonoyama looks pretty good. This is the best he's looked in a long time. And he's got the powerful Tachi-ai, and Takeru Fuji has the powerful Tachi-ai. So we could have this massive clash in the middle of the ring. Blood everywhere. It might be crazy. I think Takeru Fuji could play spoiler. He could also win this thing as well, but I'm not counting on it. I don't feel it right now. So we'll see. They're definitely going to give him the big boys. They're coming. If he wins tomorrow, it'll be the very next day. Rooting hard for Hoshoryu. He's performing at his best for the past 2 years so far. I am rooting for him as well. He gets me very excited. I really hope this is a Hoshoryu yusho. But he's going to have to stay very, very focused to not make any mistakes. Takakeisho looked really healthy and happy. He does. Like, losing the weight, he looks younger. He looks like his actual age. And he's smiling all the time. It's got to be great not to be in pain. To just be able to chill after years of being in pain probably every single day of his life. Takeru Fuji has looked pretty invincible, though. His losses have not been good. I would bet against him for now. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I just feel like he doesn't look the way he did the last time. You never know, but I'm not feeling it right now. MKG says he's usually in the tunnel watching the matches. Yes. So it was his first time watching the matches from the commentary booth as well. How crazy is it that Onosato plus 2 hangover debuffs is still 7-3 right now? That's what I'm saying. I was saying that before this tournament. Like, Onosato is the real deal. You may not like his sumo, but I think it's because he's got to develop. And that's it. I mean, he's good. He's like one of those talents you cannot ignore. With that said, he has the extreme advantage of just being very big. And he's going to win matches that some other guys are going to have to work so much harder to win just by being big. Soliman says, I'm only a recent sumo fan and have never seen Hosh in his form. Glad whatever was keeping him down seems done, and I hope he keeps destroying. I really think Hoshoryu, he was battling a little bit of injury, but everybody is. But I think it is mental for him. He's had these weird lapses in week 1 that did not show up this time. And the Hoshoryu you're seeing right now is exactly what he's capable of. So if all goes well, he keeps his head in this and doesn't get injured, knocking on wood, because I hate injuries, you're going to see this guy Yokozuna not too long. I think he'll start to be able to put some yushos together if he can just stay right in the form he's in right now. I was talking about Hoshoryu. I don't want him to win. Oh, Colin doesn't want Hoshoryu to win. Now, that's funny because Hoshoryu like some others, people hate him too. Like there's the, I love Hoshoryu, and there's the, ugh, Hoshoryu, ugh, get him away from me. I take no offense to that, Colin. I understand. Now that I think about it, I have no clue how my Kachi Clash is doing. I don't either. Oof, not good. That Kirishima Churana Omi pick is not really helping my cause. Yeah, I don't even want to look anymore. Hello, Army. Good to see you. I just picked up all the popular choices in Hoshoryu, I think. I was too busy having the best month ever to think hard about Kachi Clash. I kind of did mine last minute too, so I don't even want to look at it. It kind of hurts my soul a little bit. That's the Ozeki spirit pushing him forward. I agree. Hoshoryu cares very, very much. Let's just say that. And he wants Yokozuna. His uncle was Yokozuna. He wants it. And he cares, and he works harder than anybody. I mean, he does all those practice bouts during the training sessions. I mean, you will never count that guy out. That's why I like him. He's got the kind of wrestlers I like are the ones that never quit. But I do enjoy the extra skill sets as well. I mean, he is a skilled wrestler. Mitch says, I have no idea what kind of painkillers Mitakeyumi is loaded up with, but damn. But he probably got him from Tsurugisho. I mean, that dude's like, what, 9-1 in Juryo with one leg? Talk about a guy who never stops moving. Habab Gob says, Mitakeyumi can't get a break. This same thing happened to him in July. He was competing for the yusho, then gets hurt. Yeah, Mitakeyumi's had a rough couple of years. He makes it all the way to Ozeki, loses it pretty quick because he gets injured. Then his father dies. Then he gets stuck in, mid-Maegashira, finally starts making a run, and then these injuries are hitting him time after time. This is the hard part of a man's career right here. If I was Hoshoryu, I'd probably go for the throw too. I probably would too. I'm crazy though. I'm that person who's like, you know what? It's worth it. If I can get the win, I can heal up. But that's a stupid way to think. Hoshoryu's got both going for him. He really, really wants to win, so the temptation is there. But like I said, he is very smart when it comes to injuries. And I think Takikeisho retiring at 28 was a wake-up call for a lot of guys. You don't want to be that guy. Like the Asashoryu impression. You don't know the half of it with Shishi. His form is like 4 times as good as it was when he fought in Juryo. Wow. See, he's another example of a big guy. So you're going to win some matches because you're a big guy, but his form stinks. He's got to work on it. I don't know who his coach is, but the other guys are running circles around him, and he's going back to Juryo. Shishi always looks terrible out there. It's like his signature style. He's just so enormous. But let's give him a little bit of credit here because at least he's not Hokuseiho, okay? He doesn't do the lean. He works really hard and he tries really hard to put on a good match. You have to give him credit for that. Wakanosho is doing really well on Upper Makushita. Takikeisho's coaching is working. Can't wait for Minato Gawabeya to open. I know! I can't wait. I think Takikeisho has so much to share, and I would love it if he just starts raising up the next Ozeki. And if he ever raises a Yokozuna, I'm calling that a win. Just saying. That's my new goal, is for Takikeisho to raise up a Yokozuna. Non-Sanyaku Abi is an enigma. Yeah, I guess Abi just needs to get kicked out of Sanyaku to get motivated again. I heard once that being gigantic is a valid sumo strategy. Shishi is a testament that you can get to the top division being huge with minimal skill. Yes, but that's where the top division is beautiful, because the top division will knock you right back down without the skill. So you look so great coming up, and then you look horrible once you get to the top. It's kind of like my journey in karate. I finally reached green belt, which is, now you're intermediate. So I went through all that basic training, basically. And the difference between being in the lower rank there and moving up to green belt is enormous. I get it. I get it now, sumo, my sumo friends. It is, I can't describe it. But you feel the pressure almost like the second you put the belt on. And then just what you need to be a good fighter is just, it's so much more than just a simple rank lower. And you realize, wow, I stink. There are about 75 things I should do if I want to, really deserve this belt. But that's aside. Shishi, you just got to get your head in the game, man. Shishi is like the testing limit of how far raw strength and grit alone can take you. It's fascinating. I agree. I don't hate on Shishi. I like watching him grow and seeing what happens. If he can turn it around, he could end up being a great story. Do you think the improvement from the Ozeki has anything to do with Onosato threatening to become Yokozuna before them? 100%. That Ozeki pride thing is a thing. And it is burning up Hoshoryu to see Onosato there. I promise you, it is burning him alive. Koto Sakura, on the other hand, he comes from like sumo royalty as well. A little bit different because it was his grandfather. Koto Sakura cannot let these guys beat him. And all of a sudden, Onosato getting up there, you're starting to see a little bit of a, no. This is mine. This is not yours, rookie. This is why you need competition. This is why we've had so much trouble, because the Ozeki were not stronger. When you had Hakuho, Kakuryu, Haramafuji, Kisano Sato, they just kept getting better and better because they knew that if they wanted to be the best, they had to beat the other Yokozuna. And the Ozeki had been weak for a while. We had Goeido Takayasu, they were in the Kadoban carousel. Then we get Tochinoshin, and it was just like a glorious moment, but he just was too beat up to stay there. Then we get Takekeisho, and I thought, oh, we finally have hope, and then he was just perpetually injured. We finally have solid Ozeki, and now give them time together, and they will make each other better. I'm hoping for either Hosh or Koto to take it on a playoff with the other, then the same thing in January to get double Yokozuna promotion. Oh boy, you got a very lofty desire there, and I'm loving it. Shishi and Asakuryu may look a bit out of their depth, but they have shown respectable spirit. They're on the midnight train probably, but it will be a good experience for them. I agree, because the truth is, you learn more in a loss than a win. It's absolutely true. It sounds so cliche, but it's absolutely true. Like, I was sparring the other night, and I got punched in the face for the first time. That has never happened to me before. Well, guess what? I'm never going to do what I did that night to have that happen again. I learned a lot. There are so many tweaks I made after that. Shishi will learn, and he's got he's got the body, he's got the strength. If he learns his lessons, then he'll be a better fighter. Tim agrees with me that heart matters. I don't think so. In the last year, they've both been averaging 10 to 11 wins each year, except for the couple of Basho. This is a comment to someone else. Have you noticed Enho in Sandame, 5-0, looking well? Yes, I think he's coming up to Makushita with the performance he's doing. Probably just jinxed him. Hopefully not. We'll knock on some more wood. Tsurugisho is a monster out there. He's been awesome. That Tsurugisho is going to go down in infamy. How that man fights on one leg, don't know. Surno Nisho? I like it. What are the odds that Chiyomaru pulls the Terutsuyoshi special this Basho? I think those are good odds. Shishi looks like someone with 2 left feet. Yes, he does, Army. Yeah. He doesn't know what he's doing out there. But he will. He'll grow. Shishi out there making Hokuseiho look like a tactical genius. No. I have to disagree. Shishi looks silly. Okay, he really does. But Hokuseiho was so boring. And then we find out he's a monster. So, no. Shishi just looks a little, like he lumbers. MKG agrees with me. Shishi will be fine. You guys want to hear about promotion pictures now since we're on the lower division? Well, sure. Because I'll never catch up to the comments and I'll just be reading and you'll just be doing more comments. So, Shishi's toes have more strength than my entire body. Did you see his first few matches? He held on for dear life at the edge. Yes, and that's why I said he's a strong guy. And he's trying really hard, so you got to give him that credit. Habob Gob asks, how is John doing? Is he feeling better? Yes, John is completely on the mend. I haven't seen him yet, but I'll see him for the recap show. He is doing good. Thank you for asking. I'm sure he'll be listening to this. I'm sure Shishi is a good person. He just needs more time to develop. I agree, Army. I mean, he's put everything into this, and he's learning the hard way what it takes to be a top division guy. You do that, monster. I haven't made any notes on this yet, so I will agree with you up until I find something to disagree with. He did not look all that great coming up. He needed the form level to get out of Jurio. Shishi is the top guy in his stable. I think he needs to train across stables more. Yeah, that's always a problem. If you're in a stable with nobody to train with, you've got an uphill climb. Tim says agreed. Makushita promotions. Hatsuyama, Kiriyuko, Miyagi, Kazukano. Kazukano Yusho means automatic promotion. Jurio demotions. Chiyomaru, Onosho, Koto Eho. Onosho, wow. I didn't realize, is he losing or is he out injured? Hoshiryu has Onosato's face on the Teppo pole so he can smack it daily. I could see that. I could totally see that. Jurio promotions. I can agree with all that. Kim Bozan, Kito Nawaka, Tamashoho, and Tsurugisho. Tsurugisho will not go away. He's coming back, baby. I'm looking forward to seeing Tamashoho. Makauchi demotions. Bushozan, yeah, he's definitely out. Shishi, definitely out. Asakura Ryuden, yep. Nishiki Fuji, Tokehate, yeah. Togehate's doing so bad. Like, I really haven't paid much attention to him, unfortunately. I wanted him to make a little bit more of a splash this time. Haku Oho not looking like he'll get promoted this time. Ugh. Man, I hope that's not going to be the worst story ever. I loved Haku Oho. It's just such a shame. Kotokuzan could make a case if he wins out, and Kazukano would be a lock with the yusho. I want a Hoshoryu versus Koto on the final day to decide it all. I want that too. They're going to face each other before day 15, I think. If that's the case, the only way we'd see it on the final day is if we're in a playoff. Promotion picture still very cloudy except Makauchi demotions. It's a bloodbath in the top division. Crazy records everywhere. Love to see it. It's the chaos you wanted. Habob Gob says, even better, they fight each other to force a playoff and they fight again in the playoff. I would love that. I'm all about the playoff. Although, Hoshoryu might get the bad end of the stick there because Kotosakura is so big. That's something that I want to say right now, too, is Hoshoryu is on the smaller side for a guy of his level, which gives me even more incentive to root for him because both Onosato and Kotosakura outweigh him a decent amount, and yet it doesn't deter him at all. They've got a clear advantage, and he's still like, what advantage? I'm awesome. I concur with the Jurio Makauchi exchanges. Next couple of days will be very telling. Army agrees with you, Habob Gob. I'm not saying Hokuseiho tried harder, but I don't think I've ever seen poor technique from a Sekitori. Oh my. I know. Shishi does look bad. It's a little sad. Speaking of Jurio, I've been very impressed with Awanishiki this boss show. Yes, Awanishiki is doing well, which is great because everybody likes him. And IQ tells me that Onosho is very injured. Oh, that's so sad. He's the same age as Takekeisho. I hope we don't get another retirement. Any bets on who Ozeki's Any bets on who the Ozeki's next 2 or 3 bouts will be before fighting each other? I'll read your comments, and if you don't say anything, then we'll go there. IQ says, I don't know if he'll return or not. Onosho is not looking good, a shell of himself. Onosho is losing, looking very unstable. See, it's very interesting because Onosho and Takakeisho actually grew up together as rivals, fought each other many times. I got a great video of them fighting as kids. And so it's kind of ironic and horrible at the same time that Onosho is now going through such a serious injury at the same time that Takakeisho was forced to retire. I wonder if they talk at all now. Whenever Tsurugisho goes down to Juryu, he switches to the silver Mawashi and then goes nuts. I know, there's some sort of power in that Mawashi. Is Takanosho just a guy who has one good or one bad basho, or is Takakeisho's coaching making the difference? I do want to say that I think Takakeisho's coaching is making a difference. How much of a difference? I'm not sure. But we talk about this all the time about the intangibles. For a guy to move on to the next level, something has to change. And a lot of times it can be something like you get married and it gives you energy. You have a child, it gives you energy. Your brother comes back from the depths and you get to train together again, or you get a new training partner. In this case, Takanosho has a new coach, but he's an old coach, a coach that he's trained with his entire career basically. And now this guy has all the time to dedicate just to him, and they have the same fighting style. And Takakeisho knows these guys very well. And, Takakeisho found a way to beat these guys despite being very injured and not in the best of shape, which means he's got a great sumo mind to share. On the flip side of that, Takanosho's battled some injuries, and I think that's the reason that he fell so hard. And overcoming that is not so simple a thing. So I do think that, just getting good coaching isn't going to be everything, but it's certainly going to be helpful. Onosho looks awful. He's one that I wonder if he should have gone Kyujo after day 4 or 5 and just rest up and try again from upper Makushita. That's very, very sad. Very, very sad. I hate hearing that. There's lots of guys like that, STZ. But Takanosho used to be Sekiwaki. He's just not as healthy as back then, so he's not always on point. Exactly. GR Sumo says Enho just won, 6-0. That means he's getting the promotion. I'm pretty confident. Congratulations, Enho. I hope we do get to see you again, but I also hope you don't get hurt really bad. I could see Onosho benefiting from the half schedule and Makushita and jumping back and forth like so many guys do when both knees are destroyed. Yeah, it's going to come to a point where there's only so much he can do. And rest would probably be a better idea than not. I mean, look at what Teruno Fuji did. Look at what Ura did. Just think about it. Excellent. I kind of forgot that the lower division is live right now. I know, it's crazy. Sumo's already started. And, I'm going to go to bed. And then it'll be done. Nabatame, 6-4 down in Juryo. Kachikoshi, please. Yes, that would be good. Shishi really needs to stop resisting so hard on the edge of the ring. He'll blow his knee out. Yeah, I was getting visions of Tochinoshin watching Shishi. I never watched Tochinoshin when in his earlier career, but he wasn't that great despite having the big size. And then he gets super hurt and he goes all the way down and works his way back up, and he learned so much from that. That's how he became the powerful, awesome guy that he is. Shishi is risking messing up his knees in the same exact way. Praying for Tamashoho. Shodai doing Shodai things, good performance, and then the following basho we get the current crash. Yeah, I mean, that's all you can ever say about Shodai is Shodai. Stargazer, oh no, Tochinoshin 2.0. See, we're on the same page, ha, Bob Gob. I forgot how big the wrestlers in Jury are right now. Tsurugisho, Mitoryu, Daiamami, Daishoho, Chiyomaru, lots of roundness going on there. Absolutely. We're running out of round kings in the top division, a travesty for all people. Yeah, I've caught up to the comments. This is sort of amazing. We're at this point in sumo where the changing of the guard is a real thing. So when I started watching sumo, the round, heavy sumo wrestler was the guy. And we had, the thin guys were Kakadu and Hakuho. I mean, they were the top. They were the top of the top. But you had all these, sort of round guys fighting down below. Even, oh man, I'm struggling to think of his name now. Oh, it left my head. He was an Ozeki. Who did the bumpity? Somebody remembers. Please put it out there. Koto Shogiku. A little bit more of the rounder type. Made it all the way to Ozeki. These are the guys that we saw fighting. And now the new generation are more the Hoshuryus and Midori Fujis. But we've got Onosato Kotozakura, that type of body. But it's not exactly the same, for sure. I know we need some new roundness in the top division. At least Tsurugisho might make a return. Fukuoka crowd favorites all doing really bad. Oh, that's a shame. Especially after everything Fukuoka's been through. What happened to Atami Fuji? He started so hot, then fizzled out. Ah, there you go, Mitch. You caught Koto Shogiku for me. I was wondering the same thing. I'm sitting there watching him, and I heard that he has osteoarthritis or something. So if that's the case, poor kid might actually not be in good condition. Like, it may not just be in the cards for him. GR Sumo, have we talked about the non-mata call between Hoshoryu and Abi? Yes, we have, GR Sumo, and much to your horror, I have basically said that this is not on Abi. This is on the Gyoji. Abi cannot plan to do a false start to beat Hoshoryu and assume it will work because the Gyoji should call it. So that's really on the Gyoji. Abi got away with one, but that happens. It's like anything else. It's like if a guy accidentally slips or gets his toe out when he doesn't mean to or gets injured. It's one of those unfortunate things that happened, and it stunk. I dislike it. But hey, yeah, Hoshoryu 14-1. Never give up hope. If anyone says sumo wrestlers are just fat guys, show them Asakuryu's flexing pre-bout ritual. Seriously, I mean, if anybody has preconceived notions about sumo, there's lots and lots of matches we could show them. Atami Fuji has osteo on his hip or something like that. So if he's got that, then Atami Fuji is only good for a couple matches before that's going to flare up probably. And he's so young. I think he's like 22 or something like that. Let me look. He might not be that young, but let me take a look. Where are you, Atami Fuji? Where are you? There you are. See how old the dude is. 22. He's 22 years old. With arthritis in his hips. That is not good. Oh, that is not good. Ugh. It pains me. I have pain in my heart now that I can't get out of it. I pull for Hoshoryu because of the amount of talent it takes to beat the bigger guys of his size. Amazing. I'm with you 100%, Army. He's the perfect sumo wrestler for me. He's got a little bit of an underdog status, but not much. But he is he's the smaller of the top guys. And he's super, super talented, and he's super confident. You're not looking at him like, oh, well, he's outweighed by quite a bit. You're looking at him like, Hoshoryu will just throw you, buddy. Habob Gob says Hoshoryu's throws have been looking magnificent. Everything is looking magnificent with him this tournament. He even went really hard on somebody. I can't remember who it was. He went real rough on him, but then when it was Wakamoto Haru. But then when the match was over, he helped him up. So he's a fierce competitor, but he actually is somewhat compassionate as well. And I know those two dudes are friends because I watch all the videos of them on tour, and they're hanging out, laughing. You guys got to check out the video where they were wrestling kids. Wakamoto Haru was antagonizing everything, and Hoshoryu just thought it was so funny. I've noticed Reddit is hating a lot of the round kings recently for being too heavy and therefore injury prone. Frankly, I think there's a lot of other things they should do first for medical help. Okay, so yeah, there's trends, right? But those round kings haven't got as injured as some of the other guys. Some of them have been around forever and haven't gotten as hurt as the smaller guys, the younger guys. So the problems they're going to have, though, is they're not going to live a very long life. I think the average life expectancy for a sumo wrestler is 65. And many of them pass away long before that, which is a terrifying thought. Like some of these guys that we really, really like, just like passing away at 60. Oh, that's terrible. So that's what I would be getting on them a little bit more about. Sometimes I wonder if osteoarthritis is the real diagnosis or if this is a sumo version of just hurting. Hard to say. Hard to say, because all of these things, to some degree, they have a medical definition, but then there is a level of guessing or prognosticating. There could be something else going on that isn't exactly apparent. At this point, I think all Rikishi should wear knee braces as a precaution. I could see that, honestly. Is Kidi injured or mental? He wasn't doing well even before the twisted ankle. So I think it's both. He has a neck problem now. He injured his neck with somebody about 3 tournaments ago, and that's a problem. Now he can't do the tachi the way he wants to do the tachi. They got to really work on that. Like, I don't know why suddenly there's all these neck injuries when there wasn't before, but somebody's doing something wrong. But mentally, I also think he psychs himself out. So for him, it's just a cataclysm of disaster. What annoys me about the Abi Hoshuri ordeal is that nobody other than me, as far as I know, is giving any crap to the chief shrimp about this. The shrimps have been calling so many. I did. I said it's completely on him. Completely on him. That's something where Abi's not planning it per se. He's just going. And Hoshoryu can't plan for it. So this is where you need the Gyoji to do it right. They're probably all going to have a conference after, depending on what happens. If Hoshoryu wins the whole thing, they're not going to worry about it. But if he loses because of that match, there will be meetings. Hosh has been super technical and showing a dominating performance so far. Yeah, he's showing you exactly what it takes to be an Ozeki. Habab Gab is going to class. Cheers. Enjoy class. Thank you for stopping by. Weird ass Mata this basho, and then they pass on that one. You'd like to go to the Gyoji to grab this, but damn, shrimps need to make up their mind if they're going to help on this or not. Well, I mean, you're an umpire, right? Isn't it sort of catching where, one umpire starts calling, all the balls, they're a little low strikes, and then it's catching, and like the whole, like for a whole series, that pitch is suddenly a strike, and then you get to the next series and it's a ball. I've seen some weird stuff with umpires in those calls. They get fixated on a particular thing, and then who knows. Chiranonumi and Oshoma got slapped down by the semi-Joey. It will be interesting to see them with some real expectations on them next time at a lower rank. Yeah, both of them. I was kind of surprised, things are not going their way. However, somebody's going to have a bad tournament. So, had to be them, I guess. Kirishima just has been right since getting yeeted by Terunofuji back in January. Yeah. You can look at some wrestlers' careers, and there's always that moment where you could say, if that thing didn't happen, he'd be in a totally better place. And that seems to be the case for Kirishima. Army says, have a good night, everyone. Congratulations on the belt promotion. Keep up the amazing work. Peace. Thank you, Army. Thank you for coming by. It's always great to chat with you. And we'll see you tomorrow if you come back tomorrow. Busho's on out with a flare up of an old knee injury. It has been depressing to watch his top division attempts as a fan. Yeah, he finally breaks the curse and now he's hurt. It shows you how hard it is to stay in the top division. Once again, the round guys don't win out. Since the Abi false start, they've been right on top of it. I'm sure there was a meeting right after that match. Because was that the last match of the day? I can't remember. But I'm sure there was a talking to. Awesome, Army. Good night. I think that conversation has already been had. That's what I was just saying. Look at the Asakuryu versus Sadano Umi match, for example. 3 Matas that bout. 1 from the Chief Shrimp and then 2 from the Kimura Ginjiro. What's interesting is, I can't remember which guy it was, but I think that's what you're talking about. I mean, we had full-on clash. 2 in a row. And the false start was called. I'm like, geez, man, these guys are going to kill themselves. It's so painful to be a fan of any Yo-Yo Rikishi. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was fortunate in a lot of ways that to be a Takakeisho fan because he was a Yo-Yo Rikishi, but it was Yo-Yo with Kadoban. If not for Kadoban, I wouldn't have been able to see all the years of success. So I guess that's the benefit. Midori Fuji tried to hink at Tamawashi on his birthday. Rude. Hey, you know what though? Poor Midori Fuji just gets beat up so much, and Tamawashi is the guy that would try to take his head off. So I'm sure Tamawashi isn't hurt by it. All right, guys, we are at an hour 10. And since we're going to be back tomorrow and then maybe Thursday, I might do a third one this week. I am going to be getting off in a moment. So prepare yourselves. I'll give it like 5 more minutes. I mean, more specifically, the Makauchi Juryo Yo-Yo. Oh, yeah. Very tough to watch your guy make it. And then he only gets up so far. And then it's like, oh, bad tournament. Right back down. If Onosato wins, we could have a multi-way playoff. That's what I want to see. I want to see everything happen. I want all the Ozeki fighting. The true Yo-Yo. Are you referring to Takakeisho? In reference to the baseball reference, it doesn't happen all that much in baseball except for specific rules that aren't as visible. Not balls and strikes. You see it more in basketball, football. Yeah, I was referring to specifically balls and strikes because most things in baseball, pretty straightforward. Like a foul is a foul. There's a line there, But I haven't watched baseball in a while, but I used to watch baseball every single day, and it would be like the strike zone would start to shrink or expand depending on which umpires were there. Now, there's totally different umpires now than when I used to watch. So, I used to know, like, oh, if he's there, that high pitch is definitely going to be a strike. If this guy's there, don't even try it. Started to get a pattern there. Juryo notables. Koto Eho versus Daishoho. Daiamami versus Nabatame. Waka... Oh boy, this is where my vision starts to go dark. Wakai Kari versus Toku Hakuyo. Oh my goodness. Hakuyozan. Mitoryu versus Daiseizan. Oshomi versus Shiden. Tamashoho versus Fuji Seiyun. Shirokuma versus Shimanoumi. Yep. Shudagisho versus Kimbozan. Yeah, gonna be a couple good matches there. It seems that Shishi is having a dolphin performance. Came to the top of the water to see how it was and going right back down. I like it. That is a perfect way to call it. You just get a little peek, and that's like, get back down there. You don't belong up here. Monster enjoys that as well. That doesn't happen much now. In the pros, they're all trained and taught to call to the computer. Yeah. That's the thing. I turned on baseball the other day and I was like, what is this box? Like now that people can see the box and everything is so digital. Now you can call replays in baseball. That did not happen when I was watching baseball. There were no replays. I was completely thrown by the new baseball rules. I kind of miss it the old way, even though there was mistakes that were made. I like sort of the artistry of, I don't know. I can say that now because I'm long past the days where I care about balls and strikes. But the computer kind of ruins the game a little bit, if you ask me. If you combine Shishi and Asakuryu, you would have a perfectly average Rikishi. Oh, that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. Don't get me started on the box. Damn thing don't work the way it's supposed to. Of course it doesn't. It's technology. Technology only works for as long as it works, and then when it fails, it's a complete nightmare. I mean, now, like, what do you even need a man to call balls and strikes if you have a machine? You can have a robot do it. The nice thing about, as much as we complain about the Gyoji or umpires or refs, the human element makes it interesting. I don't want a robot calling balls and strikes. I kind of like Asakuryu, taking into account that he's on the smaller side and is really technical. Yeah, very much like the Hoshoryu type of fighter, just much smaller. But Shishi is a one-trick dolphin. For now, give it time. Japanese baseball sounds a lot better than American baseball, but I don't watch baseball. I used to love baseball. I have to tell you, like, I'm not gonna give you the years because then I have to date myself, but it was before all the technology, and I knew all the stats about everybody, and I knew all the stats about everything, and I still love baseball in my heart, but it's changed a lot, and so maybe I should start watching Japanese baseball. Yes, JJ, you are very late. I mean, I'm only going for like a few more minutes, but you can go and rewatch this later. I don't mind replay. I've actually done some games with replay, and it really is interesting. I'd have to think on that. Maybe I could get used to it. I think everyone's doing good. JJ, don't say goodnight yet. I at least want to tell you that everyone is really enjoying this basho. And I'm really enjoying you and Goose and your commentary. There's been some wild stuff that's gone on, and you guys have been hilarious. So I have to tell you that. Monster says, go off, Maria. JJ, you are alive. Now say goodnight. You kicked him out. I didn't even get to kick him out. It's my show. I kick people out. I've been working on an Ichi Yamamoto breakdown vid. Ooh. Are you going to share it? You better still be here, JJ. Framing is cool, and I'm not afraid to say it. Good night, JJ. Oh, yep, he's still there. Good. I hope you heard all those comments. The computer is fine calling pitches in and out since the numbers and plate doesn't move. The problem is calling up and down since every batter is different and can even change from batter to batter. Yeah, I could totally see that. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I guess I'm just old school and I don't like to change. And I don't want to see the stupid box. I finally watched the World Series this year. I haven't watched it in years. And I just couldn't handle the box. And then when I saw them call for a replay, I'm like, okay, what is happening here? Ay, ay, ay. You're very welcome, JJ. Ooh, Ichi Yamamoto breakdown. I like it. Feel free to share it. We're all going to be waiting now for the Ichi Yamamoto breakdown vid. Some people have argued that I look most intelligent when I'm standing around with the replay headset. Well, for fashion sense, maybe the replay is okay. You don't like change, which is why you watch sumo? Yes. This is a quote that I think I'm going to keep in my life. I've got to make a t-shirt that says, I don't like change, which is why I watch sumo. This is like the greatest quote of all time. Yes. So for all the crap that people give sumo for, being rigid, if you're someone like me who doesn't like change, sumo's for you. I lost my little square here. Hold on. Uh-oh, where do we all go? 1 second. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm here, yeah. Looking at this tournament from the Juryu show to the end of 2024. Going to be out after this basho at some point. Awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. I need Tamashoho in top division. You have no idea what you're missing out on, Maria. I don't. I wish I had time for Juryu. I barely have time for top division. But tell him to hurry up. He'll get a nice little analytical comment from me like Shishi has. Haha, sumo's like the best sport if you don't want to see something change in 200 years. Yes, that's me. I miss do not change. So, I'm saying it right now. I'm loving it. Merch store, yeah. Okay, so if I ever do a merch store, the very first shirt is going to be, I don't like change, which is why I watch sumo. I'll give you credit. I will love that man. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing him. I like the box. It holds the umps accountable. I get it. You know, the umps took a lot of flack for a lot of years over balls and strikes in particular because you would get like the manager coming out, flipping out, and getting kicked out of the game because you're not supposed to argue them. But still, I like the human element to stay the same. I mean, sumo has had replay since the 70s, true innovators in the world of sports. That is cool. That is actually cool that they've had replay since the 70s because most pro sports did not. And because it's been there that long, I can accept it. It's not a change. Also, Shiden, because he's like pure 100% Yorikiri bread and butter specialist, and I find it very fascinating and funny. I was saying this the other day. I think it's okay to be quote unquote a one-trick pony. Because it's not like we're just watching that guy fight. We're watching Mr. One-Trick Pony fight different styles of sumo. So every match is still different. So what? If you're really good at one style, keep doing that style. What's wrong with that? Be the expert at that style, and then we'll see how other styles match up to it. It's still interesting. I wish sumo would go back to the standing tachiai, more tradition, go back to standing. Well, we'd have less neck injuries, that's for sure. And Shodai kind of does the standing tachiai. The standing tachiai matches from the 80s are wild. I love watching the old 80s matches. It's hard to catch them, but whenever I do, roaming the internet as I do, I love them. The crowd was so crazy back then. Sumo was so much more of a passion, that long ago than it is now, unfortunately. The problem I have with the box is that the guys get crucified over a 1/4-inch miss. It would be the one thing if pitches 4 or 5 inches off were getting missed regularly, but that's just not the case anymore. Yeah, and I would agree with that too. It's like, okay, well, a human being is not a robot. So the robot got it right and you didn't. Okay, cool. Kudos to the robot. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even need a human being if you're going to be that picky about it. It's the same thing with boxing. Style makes the fight. Yeah, but once again, if you get two guys doing the exact same style, yeah, that could be boring. But if you've got, like today's match, classic example is today's match with Ono Sato and Daisho. Ono Sato doing the exact same thing he always does and beating people with it. And Daisho decides to grab the belt with only one finger because every other finger is broken. That made it a thrilling match because Ono Sato only does one thing and he got burned by it. It was amazing. I laughed out loud watching that match. It was highly entertaining. Do your one trick. Do your brand of sumo. That's another shirt. I'm telling you, we're getting all the shirt ideas now. I need to make these shirts now. It's one of the reasons why I want to do breakdown vids. Styles are fun. I'm all for the breakdown vids. Do as many as humanly possible, and I will be telling everyone to watch them. They are evolving the fun out of sports, I swear. I agree. Stop to some point. Doesn't this progress idea just make everything exactly the same? As much as human beings and what they do drive us nuts and we want them to be perfect and do everything perfect, the uniqueness of each human being is what entertains us. It's what makes these things cool. If we make everything so rigid, it's okay, what difference does it make if I watch this or something else? Let there be errors. They might make you angry, but at least you're not bored. They must have asked Reddit what to do. I mean, even the same style fights are fun. Ichi Yamamoto versus Abi, Hida Umi versus Daisho. True. You're right. You're right, because, once again, the human element, even if it's the same style, the way it looks is different because of the guy. And then how the guy responds to somebody being a mirror image of him is also interesting. I like Abi because he's a master and loyal to his sumo style. I got a soft spot for those pusher thrusters, and that's always going to be the case. I don't care if people say they're boring because they're not boring to me. And I really like Abi. I can never not like Abi. There's so many things about him. He's a character. He brings such interest to the sport. I love seeing him. It's fun seeing each wrestler do their style. Minute differences in style make things interesting after watching for like 4 or 5 years. Yeah, I do think that maybe some of the people who say, oh, he only does one thing, have only been watching for a little bit of time. As you watch more and more and more sumo, you start to appreciate it a lot more. I love when similar styles fought, a real twist of who is better, something with style and surprises, no influence. Yeah, I mean, I think the worst matches are probably the matches where something stupid happens, like, you know, what happened with Abi and Hoshoryu the other night, or somebody trips, or Hankas. The reason Hankas are not any fun is more from the fact that the match is over in 2 seconds. One trick sumo shirt I'm in. I think we got at least 5 shirt ideas at this point. So if I did a store, would you guys buy all these sumo shirts? I'm going to put at the bottom, like, 42 Opinions commentary. Like, you all get credit for it. But Abi did that one Hanka to win the yusho that one time, so people hate him. Oh, yeah, they hate him for that reason, but he's done other things, too. He's definitely done other things, but yeah, that Hanka. He almost, like, broke Takayasu with that Hanka, too. He actually got hurt on the Hanka. And that cost Takekisho another opportunity for Yokozuna. So, even though I love Takekisho, I still can't hate Hobby. I just can't. Some people are just closed-minded. They will never appreciate the technique of Oshizumo because they don't rack up a lot of different Kimarite. Yeah, it's like collecting Pokemon or something. I go to see all the different types. Yeah, well, it's a sport. In reality, you know, if you think about a karate sparring match, chances are you're going to get punched, hit with a front kick, or hit with a roundhouse. There are 7 or 8 different styles of kicks, but those are the ones that are going to get you a point. So, whatever. It's all good. One trick, 42 Opinions. Yeah, I'm getting an image here. One trick pony sumo commentary, 42 Opinions. Totally only one trick here. I really do need to get some sumo merch at this point. There's a sumo website. What is it? I like bought stuff from them. And they have all kinds of sumo merch. But I'm going to start making some because nobody else does. And then maybe people will buy it. Just for fun. Like, take Teruno Fuji, for instance. There's nothing cooler than Teru getting the clamps on a fool, embodying them. It's a classic Teru move, and it's hype every time I see it. I 100% agree with you there. I love it. It reminds me of a snake grabbing a mouse. As graphic as that is the image I think every time. I mean, he hanked Takayasu, but he still somehow beat Takehesho the hard way. True. Can't hate him for it. And like I said, Abi has great respect for Takekisho, so Abi gets extra points for that too. He was the only current Rikishi to say something when Takekisho retired. Think about that for a second. So you'd buy it. Okay. I'm seriously considering it. I need to get some sumo graphics because you can't just have these. But just imagine you're walking around town with all these different sumo slogans from the show. And people are going to be like, what is this? 42 Opinions, guys. Yeah, I love the Teru clamps. I loved it when he damn near ripped off Tobizaru's arm. Yeah, you would love that. You definitely... I could see that. I also enjoyed how Nishikigi, of all people, beat Teruno Fuji from inside the clamps. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, beautiful. Once again, you know the clamps are coming, but how amazing is it when somebody beats it? I think it's most because of how he got social media banned for a while. Yeah, so when he tied up the one wrestler and put it on Instagram, it was Wakamoto Haru. That was before he was known. That was just one thing he did. But it was just a big overreaction from the Kyokai. Abi has... See, but that upset the Japanese fans. I don't know if it upset the American fans. We don't care. We're like, yeah, whatever. You're pretty tame compared to our athletes. Our athletes have serious problems. Abi did, he tied up Wakamoto Haru. He gave very disrespectful interviews. They didn't like that. He had inappropriate reactions. He had inappropriate reactions after fighting matches. He gets busted for the COVID stuff. I mean, it just piled on with him. All right, Monster, I have to make that note. JSA is against bondage. Oh, you mean being objectively funny? Abi is funny, and that's why he's always in trouble. Abi is hilarious. I cannot say that he doesn't make me laugh. So you are not allowed to be funny in sumo. You must be serious. Wakamoto Haru is his friend. It wasn't bullying. No, he jumped right in on it. You could do a one-trick sumo collection and just have designs of Rikishi's signature moves. That's a good idea, too. Man, I need to, save this chat so that I don't forget these shirt ideas. Being fun is not the samurai spirit or something. Yeah, you're supposed to hold a certain standard. I'm serious. I'm copying all this chat before I go. JJ, you should feel very, very honored because I was going to go 20 minutes ago and I just decided to stay on because you were here, and now we're having this delightful conversation. It might turn into something very awesome for the sumo community if I make awesome shirts. Sorry, I'm having trouble here. I'm trying to copy the chat, and then I did something weird. I don't know what. I'll have to look around the Kyushu arena pictures for the no Teppo signs. That would make for a great shirt. Yeah. Monster said he'd buy those too. I hear that it's really not hard to start a merch store. Basically, you make the designs and people can buy them, and the company gets most of the money. Because I don't want the money anyway. I just want people to be able to buy the shirts. So, as long as it doesn't cost me anything, then why not? If you save this chat, you may want to delete my Abi celebration bit. I'm only saving it long enough to get the shirt ideas, and then I'll get rid of it. Is Roga the pattern lover? Is Roga the pattern lover going to get 8 or 7 wins this time? Pattern lover? I'm missing something. T-shirt, 5 more minutes, guys. 20 minutes later. I know, right? You guys always do this to me. It's kind of unbelievable. I can't copy and paste this chat while I'm in this, so this is a good reason to get going. You guys are awesome. You definitely make my night very entertaining, and I hope we get lots of cool shirts out of the deal. Tommy Fuji has shown a troubling lack of ring awareness this spa show. Yeah, I don't know. If it really is the arthritis in his hip, maybe he's just in so much pain that he just can't do what he needs to do. It's a shame. He's so young. Look at Roga's career on Sumo DB. He's got a pattern to him. Interesting. We need a shirt that says something along the lines of we're skipping the Magashiro 2 rank. I will think on that. Definitely that is 42 Opinions specific, so we need that shirt. I just got the whole list in. Haha. He's also the stealth assassin, Rogan, so... Is this a thing? Like, have people been talking about Roga, the pattern lover? Or did you just get Monster? Like, are there conversations I don't know that are going on? Alright, guys. I'm really going to go this time. I promised that I was going to go at about 22 minutes ago, so now I'm really going to go. I'll be back tomorrow. It'll be a little bit later. It'll be 9:15 because tomorrow is karate night, and I will be rushing in here. So if I could even be as late as 9:30 tomorrow. You know what, Monster? I don't remember now. You know how many comments I just read through? We literally talked about this before, not even that long ago. I missed it, okay? Roga the Eternal Maegashira 15 West. That needs to be a shirt. I just got him, but Goose and I call him a stealth assassin because he's got some wild wins over people you wouldn't expect. Got it. I can't steal that shirt idea, though. That's your guys' thing. Yes. Now we're going to say goodnight. Thank you all for coming. Come tomorrow night, somewhere between 9:15 and 9:30. We're probably going to have lots to talk about. I have a feeling it's going to be wild. So be there tomorrow night so we can talk. Good night, and thank you for coming by.